Otherwise, you'll have to put tape on your can, blue tape.
We should be live. Howdy, folks. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to the second edition of my chat. Tonight we have with us Dano, who is going to be doing our public service announcement. And we also have the lawn chair pot king himself, the tactical leprechaun, Clovertac. How you doing, Clover?
Well, but it helps if you unmute there, I've noticed. I'm doing well, Ellis. Thank you. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. Glad to be on.
Well, the honor's mine. So, Dano, what do you have for us tonight, buddy?
I am the designated public service announcement representative of this temporary show, or of my temporary appearance anyway.
Temporary.
Yes.
Temporary.
Anyway, just as a reminder, last week we had Gun Owners of America, which there is a life member running a matching funds campaign. So as an example, if for Gun Owners of America, if you give them $20, this other anonymous member will give an additional $20 for making that gift $40 to Gun Owners of America. If you want to apply that to a membership, you certainly can, including a life membership, which is normally $500. But with that matching gift, you can get a life membership for $250. It will get matched to a total of $500, and you will get a life membership. Now, for that, you have to call. You can't do that via the website. But the matching funds for just like $20, that you can do right on the website. But this week, we have the Second Amendment Foundation, also known as SAF, which is dedicated to promoting a better understanding about constitutional heritage to privately own and possess firearms. The foundation has as many as 24 active cases at any one time. Successful cases that have been brought against the carry ban in Illinois, Emergency Power Acts bill, the self-defense outside of the home, which was Ezell versus Chicago, and handgun prohibitions in public housing, as well as denial of permits or sales to resident aliens and other issues. Life membership for the Second Amendment Foundation, if you're interested, is $150. If you're down on funds, you can just simply do an annual membership for $15 or any amount in between. It totally depends on you. Now, one thing that I like about Second Amendment Foundation, which not necessarily all organizations do, what makes them a little bit different other than their focus, is they also have a 30-day no questions asked policy if you want to cancel your donation or membership for any reason. Second Amendment Foundation will refund the full amount. So let's say that you decide that you want to hook up with an annual membership and you didn't realize you had that extra bill. You can call them next week or the week after or 3 weeks from now and cancel that and get that money back to pay that bill. And that makes it a little bit unique in that way as far as the finances. So this week's public service announcement is check out the Second Amendment Foundation, which is dedicated to promoting a better understanding about our constitutional heritage to privately own and possess firearms. So thank you.
And we thank you. Dano, that was very informative, and come up with something for next week. I'm going to make that a weekly part of the show, folks. If anybody out there has anything they need to get out, let me know, and I'd be more than happy to have you on the show to get it out there. Now, let's get this ball rolling. Clover, how you doing, buddy? What's going on?
I'm well. I'm here. I've got it's been a trying day today. I teach archery on Thursdays at a private school and got done with that, jumped in my pickup, turned the key over, nothing. Luckily I know the police department there in town. I know all them real well, so I was basically able to call the police department and hitch a ride to the auto parts store and buy a battery. So, but
That's all it was.
Yeah.
A battery issue.
Yeah, it was a shorted battery, which I knew that I was going to have to do that eventually anyway. I knew the first cold snap we got here, you know how batteries do in the cold, not really well, and I kind of figured it was getting old, and I figured that was going to happen anyway. So just sucks that it happened now, but it is what it is.
Well, you can't
And
never
then
choose when something's gonna go bad.
right, and then the rest has just been mainly prep for the night with everything that's went on. Yesterday was, or I guess yesterday evening or last night was absolutely insane. So um, I know that Ghost out there, he's put out some replies, and we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Yankees reply he just released, and we're going to talk about Hickok 45, which if you haven't went and watched that, then you may want to go do that before after hours tonight at 11 Eastern. But if you feel the way I feel about Hickok, which is that he's boring, him sitting in a chair talking to a camera is even more boring, and you've got to listen to that for an hour. So you may just want to tune in and get the analysis and then go back and kind of speed through it for context.
Make up your own mind.
Right, more or less. Still trying to watch through that entire thing. It was difficult. And then I got an email. I've got an email out to Langley Firearm Academy. He did a little live stream last night, actually during the roundtable thing, which I mean that guy's got no tact really when it comes to being a creator. He amazes me sometimes with how big his channel is. But I went back and replayed today and listened to that, and immediately knew that I needed to bring that up tonight on After Hours as well and talk about that and call him out. You've got your shout outs and you've got your call outs. And tonight is going to be, we'll do a few shout outs. There's a few new channels I've run across, which is always fun to do on After Hours. But for the most part, it's going to be call them out night. And it's going to be the David versus Goliath edition, because it's all of us smaller channels calling out these bigger channels, and just basically asking them, what the heck are you thinking and what the heck are you doing? And that's the question.
And how much do you think money has to do with all that?
Most of it, to be honest.
Exactly.
To be honest.
And when they start putting their pocketbook in front of the Second Amendment, I've got a problem.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with their stance one way or the other per se. But I've got a problem when they parrot back stuff and just toe the line of the NRA, and they all say the same things. Yankee, spoiler alert, I guess, but Yankee talks about that in his latest video, and how that Eric with Iraq veteran just kind of parroted back some platitudes, is all he did, and that's really all of them are doing, not just on that round table, but a lot of these other big channels you see. And I don't know. It really opened my eyes. I've known this for a while, and most of the folks that know me and most of the guys here on Gun Channel, I mean, you guys know that I'm not a fan of any of the big huge channels, and I'm not a fan because it seems like they don't appreciate their audience and they don't engage with their audience, and that's that's something that to me is important to do. Now, give me some hard questions.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's last week was my first show, and I said at the end, I'll say it now. Audience participation will be a big thing here. If the audience has questions, feel free to ask. I mean, I'll answer what I can, and I'm sure Clover will do the same.
I don't know. I'm afraid of some of them out there. Some of the questions, some of them might ask the group that I see out there now. They're a little wild.
Now, let me ask you a question. Other than gun channels on YouTube, not gun channels, but people that put out content about firearms and Second Amendment, what other YouTube channels do you watch?
Oh wow, that's actually a good question. I watch one called Cinema Sins. It's absolutely hilarious. They basically critique movies, Um, oh God, my wife hates it because um, I showed her one night. I'm one of those types that I don't watch a lot of movies, and my wife can't hardly watch a movie with me because I talk to the TV. I point out every little thing that's wrong in the storyline and the plot with the acting, whatever. You know, I point out every little thing that's wrong. I got something smart aleck, something to say. I just talk to the TV constantly when I watch TV. And I get that from my grandmother. My grandmother would do that. You know, I've talked before about her being little and her babysitting or whatever, and her watching what she called her stories, which was the soap operas that came on. And I can remember her uh, talking to the TV a lot during her stories. You know, I can't believe you kissed him, or I can't, honey child, you need to get away from him. He's nothing but trouble. You know, talking to the TV, and I do that with movies and stuff. But that's sort of what Cinema Sins does. Is it points out all the flaws and the things like that in the movies,
Well, welcome back, Dano.
different movies. So, I follow
And
some creator. Dano's having some issues apparently. Something just said unclick your icon. Oh, Ellis, you got your icon. You got your icon clicked. That's what he said anyway. Just click on your icon down there and it'll.
Yeah, I did. Thank you, Dano.
I didn't even
realize.
Yeah, I do that sometimes myself. But yeah, other channels. What was I saying? Lost my train of thought, man. Dano screwed me up.
Dano has that effect on people.
Well, it's like, oh, creator helper stuff. You know, all you guys that know me know I'm a geek for the stuff under the hood with YouTube and social media and things like that. And so I follow some fairly big name creator helpers: Roberto Blake, Tim Schmory were video creators, Daryl Eves. Now, Roberto seems to be the one that actually keeps up with what's going on and cares. The other two sometimes. Video creators, they helped me early on, but we got to a certain point. They want to ignore algorithm problems and the bias, and just pretend like it's everyday business, and it's not. And then Daryl Eves, he's got to where he's in it just for the money. Every video he does, every live stream he does is to push some type of an event or a class or something like that. So I've almost got turned off on him and about to that point with the video creators. But the Roberto Blake guy is pretty good with a lot of his analysis and the research he does. And then and then I follow some of the big guys. I mean, H3H3, Philip DeFranco. Not a big Casey Neistat fan. A lot of folks are. News, like conservative news stuff. Steven Crowder, Mark Dice. Some pretty good channels. And then we talked about Ruben. I can't even remember his first name now. The Ruben Report. Somebody out there, I'm sure, probably knows who I'm talking about. But he has, I don't know, he may be a little left leaning, but he's always fair in his interviews, and he has a lot of different guests and stuff that he interviews, and so that's some pretty good ones too. So. Yeah, just I guess you could say a variety. I mean, I don't watch no health and beauty stuff, and I don't really watch any gaming channels because I'm not into that. But if it deals with movies, entertainment, randomly, I click on a lot of music videos and stuff like that on YouTube. And I think we probably all do that. If you feel like listening to something, just plug your headphone jack into my stereo and fire up YouTube, and I can listen to whatever I want to, basically. So
yeah, you get that one song stuck in your head. Thank God for YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. So, or you just want to watch a video. Sometimes the video is what you're after. But yeah.
Well, you mentioned earlier, you said that you spend your Thursdays doing archery classes, and you, among all the guys that I talk to on a regular basis, you are the one who is most passionate about getting the kids out there and getting them shooting and training. And what got you into that? What is, What brought you to that point?
Honestly, I got voluntold.
Voluntold?
Voluntold. Have you ever heard that word?
That's first.
Yeah, basically. The other Travis out there, he's watching. He's asking, do I watch any cooking channels? Yeah, actually, I do. I can't remember the name of it. Midnight offhand. It's like the Western, the crazy Western cooker or something like that. It's this old dude, and when I say old, I'm not kidding.
Hold on a minute. I think I know who you're talking about because I watch him too.
Yeah, he's like a really old dude, and it's just like in his kitchen. It's nothing fancy. It's almost like he just put his cell phone on a tripod, and he basically cooks with whatever he has. He's like, I got this cheese in the refrigerator that I need to eat, or it's going to go bad, and I got these eggs, and they're about to go bad, so I'm going to fix this meal today. So he's all about like conservation, like cooking with what he's got, and cooking with things that are about to go bad that he needs to use, and coming up with some kind of little dish or recipe to use those. And he calls it like cowboy cooking or something like that is what he calls it. Because he said, when the cowboys were out on the trail, that's what they did. They basically cooked with whatever they had available,
Yeah, they cooked what they had.
And I'm glad that Midnight brought that up because I totally forgot about that. But there's several things I eat on a regular basis. I'll go in there and fix that I found on his channel. He does a lot with eggs. There's a lot of egg-based dishes. So, but anyway, back to the youth stuff. No, I've always been around and involved in firearms and stuff. I wasn't involved in 4-H. Was involved in FFA, but of course that deals with the school districts and they don't allow firearms and whatever. And my oldest two kids, well, all of my kids, I mean, we always went out and shot and hunted and did all that kind of stuff. And just sort of, it's always been something I've really enjoyed doing. And my youngest daughter was really into it and both really into it and then really good at it. And then so ended up posting Facebook pictures, how you do as a parent, your kids shooting or doing this or doing that. And I had a friend that contacted me and he said, hey, I didn't even know they had a program. And he said, hey, they've got a shooting sports program here in the county. And I said, oh, really? And he said, yeah. He said, it's just archery right now. And the people that were running it, of course, they weren't promoting it or doing anything else. He said the people that were running it worked in the oil field industry or something like that. Anyway, they were moving to Dubai. And he said they're looking for somebody to take over. He said, and, I thought about you, my boy and I, we shoot blah, blah, blah. And, you and your daughter shoot. And would you be willing to help out and, go get trained and all that kind of stuff? And so anyway, talked it over with my daughter. She seemed fairly excited about it. And it just kind of went from there, honestly. So it went from, it's not something that I actually pursued. It kind of got roped into, and then it's almost a way of life at this point. I've done it for so long and had so many kids come through the program. And matter of fact, I've got two that are married now that I had in the program. So that makes you feel really, really old when you are on Facebook and something pops up and there's like two of the kids you had in your shooting sports getting married,
Yeah, that would get to you. I did some looking while you were talking. The guy you were talking about is a Cowboy Kent Rollins.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
I watch him. He puts on some good stuff. He does a lot of the campfire and bunkhouse stuff, and some of the stuff he comes up with is just quite amazing. It's a good channel. So how long have you actually yourself been into firearms? What age did you start?
Oh man. Actual firearms, not BB or pellet guns, probably 5 or 6. I was hunting. I was squirrel hunting and things like that by my, well, not deer hunting really, but of course I got my first deer while I was squirrel hunting. But that's a whole other story. It wasn't an intentional I'm going deer hunting episode. Got it with a 410 slug, and I just so happened I carried a couple of slugs in my shirt pocket, and yeah, I had to go walk out, and just so happened it was crossover. Back then, I don't even know if they cross over nowadays or not. I think they still do, but squirrel season and deer season crossed over a little bit, and I had to go walk out one day while I was squirrel hunting, and I had a pump Mossberg 410, and anyway, slowly put the slug in, let her rip, and dropped her. But yeah, by the time I was probably 8 years old, I was squirrel hunting and stuff by myself. So, yeah, they would just turn me loose. I had one of those vests that had I guess it's for birds. That's what it's really for, but it has the pouch or whatever in the back. I guess I think that's for like quail and dove and for hunting like that. But I had one of those, and I'd stack the tree rats off in it and go.
I had one of those when I was a kid. It didn't have a actual pocket in it, so I had to sew a pocket onto it. So, but it did have a pouch in the back.
Right. Well, that would work too.
Yep. What's your favorite gun, Clover?
Favorite gun? That'd be a specific model, I'm guessing.
Whatever. This is your show. I'm just a host.
I don't know. Pistol. If we're going pistol, man, I'm a really big and this favorite for me does not necessarily mean it's the one I shoot the best. It's the most expensive. It's the one I have the most of. Anything like that. But if I would have to go with the pistol, the Beretta 92, Beretta 96 pistols are just iconic for me. That's a 1980s and even in the modern times. All of your action movies, action and TV shows, whatever. There's always a Beretta 92 or 96. It seems like so. It's a really iconic pistol. So I would say that's probably my favorite pistol. Shotgun. Probably a Mossberg pump. Honestly, just your standard 500, and then for rifles, probably a lever 30-30. If I was guessing,
you can't go wrong with one of those.
Really big fan of Marlin rifles, and I've got a couple Marlin shotguns too, but I've got a bunch of Marlin rifles. I'm a really big Marlin fan, and I prefer the older stuff, JM stamped, whatnot, if I can find them. But if I've got to go newer model because it's a good buy, then I'll buy them. But yeah, really big on the Marlin stuff.
Marlin makes pretty good products. In fact, I had a Marlin 336 several years back, and I gave it away. So that's one of those things that somebody needed one, and I had one, and I said, "Here, it's yours." But I've done that several times. I gave away a Brit 303 that I still regret giving away. But
wow,
yeah, and I've sold a bunch of them too. Let's give a shout out to see who's in the room here.
Oh yeah,
looks like definitely. We've got Ghost Tactical, Rich White, Alan B. Pro.
That's 1%, by the way. That's not Rich White. You got to call him by his proper name. That's 1%.
1%. 1% of what?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Graham
you can't be if you're rich and you're white, then you have to be in the top 1%, right?
Well, this is true.
He's 1%. Whether
Midnight's out there, of course. Phoenix, thank you guys all for showing up, and whoever else is out there, we appreciate you greatly. We wouldn't be doing what we're doing without our subscribers. So thanks, guys. And apparently Grim is hungry. Midnight, that's your department. Who's on the gun channel side? We have Scott, Ted, Dano, Night Strike, guys, and again, thank you. Mr. Clover, let's get back to you. We've talked about hunting. What was your first gun?
First that was actually mine, or first that I was able to use?
Let's say the first one you ever bought.
Oh, ever bought? Okay.
Yeah, the first one you spent your own money on.
Well, there's a reason. There's a reason that I distinguish the first one that was mine or the first one that I used, because my first gun, which is the reason that I'm a big Marlin guy, I didn't buy. I won.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I always count that basically as buying. I mean, my parents didn't pay for it and give it to me. It's not like it was a Christmas present or anything. Back in junior high, in FFA, or it was like junior FFA or something back then. FFA was for high school. You sold the sausage and the fruit and the turkeys and all that stuff for Christmas. And like the top prize, if you sold so many or whatever, and it was like the first person to sell that many, won a Marlin Model 60 22. And so I won that, and that was my first, first one that nobody bought me. First one that I was able to get myself was that one. Then if you talk about legitimately buying one, a Marlin 3030 was the first actual firearm that I bought from a store, I don't even remember where now. I think it was a local pawn shop. It was new, but yeah, it was a Marlin 3030.
The first gun that I actually ever really bought was, I can't even remember what the name of it was, but it was a single shot shotgun, and I was 14, 15 years old. That was the first one I bought with my own money. So,
And they're not that expensive now, and those were really really affordable. I can remember even like a 1022. We ripped up some carpet in an old house one time, and there was newspaper under it, and the newspaper was from like the mid 80s or something, and it was one of the local stores, and they had Ruger 1022s on sale for $69.99. So I thought, man, it'd be nice if they'd honor Walmart or something would honor that, wouldn't it? Take it in there to them. But
I'm sitting here reading the chat, and I've noticed that as soon as Midnight shows up in any chats, it automatically just becomes a food chat.
He
For
intentionally,
some reason.
yeah. He intentionally. It's not some mysterious reason. He provokes it.
Well, I've noticed him doing it on your show. He does it on your show. He does it on Ghost's show. So I guess I'm next.
The thing is, he's really sneaky about it. So it's hard to actually catch him provoking it, but he does provoke it.
Well, see, here's the thing. He thinks he's being sneaky, but we're catching on quick.
Oh yeah, yeah. The thing about it is, though, it's not like people. I mean, people, they don't mind talking about food.
He's a troll, but he's a likable troll, huh?
Right. At least his topics are something that everybody usually wants to talk about.
Yeah,
which is a good thing. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And we all eat, so it makes sense.
Exactly.
But it is what it is. Okay, guys, I want to turn this over to the chat. Do y'all have any questions for Clover?
Oh Lord.
Yeah, here it comes. You knew it was coming. This is the part of the show where we let the audience decide where we're going.
Right.
Food chat is better than chat. Well, apparently nobody has any questions for you. They don't like you.
Well, I don't know. Probably all the lawn chair chats. They pretty much know everything about me anyway. So
Well, Ghost wants to
they
know
don't.
how your shoulder is.
Oh yeah. Um, it's not bad. It's okay. It was a little rough yesterday. Uh, what was that? 30. I guess I put 30 rounds because I did his drill of the month. And used my lever 44 Magnum and then a 45 long Colt. So I uh, did 10 rounds, split it up, the 15 rounds, 10 through the 44 mag. So I run it 3 times. So that was 30 rounds of 44 mag. And I mean, um, yeah, it was pretty much as fast as I could get the lever worked. And so yeah, it beat on that old shoulder pretty good. Now I'm used to it.
You couldn't
Recoil
find
and
anything smaller.
um in a lever gun, I mean, I could have went with a 22. I mean, I wanted a cowboy action theme to it, and I could have went with a Henry or even a Marlin, or went my Marlin 39 or a Winchester. I've got several lever 22s, um, and then I've got a couple of single action um, um 22 revolvers as well. But I wanted to go bigger bore. So, and it had been a while. Honestly, it gave me a reason to shoot that one. It's a 1894, Marlin 44 mag, and it had been a while since I shot it. Um, so,
Well,
it's
Phoenix wants
okay.
to
It's
know
okay.
what's your favorite Southern word
Favorite
or words?
Southern words. Hmm. Hmm.
Don't you love this audience participation?
Yeah.
It's going to get you in
I don't
trouble
know.
yet.
That's a hard question. My favorite Southern words.
And it's probably Yunk too.
No, I don't know. To be honest. Um,
Grim wants to know
my wife. My wife
where's your
says
perfect
wash.
walking stick.
My wife says wash a lot. She puts an R in it.
Yeah, so does my family.
I don't say that. I never say wash. Of course, I change the oil in my truck, OLL, and you know, you never know when I say I'm going to go change a tire if I'm talking about the thing that stands up that the cell phones work off of, or the thing that's on your car, because um, I pronounce tire like tire. Cell phone tire is out. They're like, that's a tower.
Well, let's see.
One thing that I've got a really big pet peeve about, you can pick on me about my language and all this all you want, is people that tell me that their hot water heater went out. And I always ask them, I'm like, you have a hot water heater? And they're like, oh yeah. And I'm like, I've never seen why would you need a hot water heater? Isn't hot water already hot? Why does it need to be heated? And they always look at me funny, and then later on it'll dawn on them.
It dawns on them. Wait a minute, he's right.
They dawn on them that that's not. But for some reason, and I don't know if it's a southern thing. I don't know if northerners do that or not. People in other parts of the country, but down here it seems like everybody says hot water heater.
Well, in the South where I'm at, anytime you walk into a restaurant and ask for a Pepsi, the waitress is going to look at you and say, "Well, I'll go get you a Coke." Now,
they did that. Where was I at? And I drink.
She'll bring you back a Pepsi, but she's gonna call it a Coke.
I drink. I talk about this all the time. I usually drink as far as sodas. It's just whatever's on sale. I'm not really picky. But we went. Where did we go? We went to a pizza joint here a couple days ago. I was in town. I run into my middle brother. He's like, "Have you ate yet?" I'm like, "No." And he's like, "You want to go to this new pizza joint?" I'm like, "Well, I've already been there, but it wasn't horrible." So I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I walk in, and they're like, "What did I get for you?" And I said, "A Coke." And then they're like, "Is Pepsi okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'll have a Dr. Pepper." Because most of the time they have Dr. Pepper. which is really weird here because the bottler or the distributor that does Coke actually does Dr. Pepper too. So I don't understand why they would go with a Pepsi distributor and then call a completely different distributor to bring in Coke. Why not just bring in all the Coke products to start with and forget the Pepsi products? It doesn't make any sense. But you know, I don't know the financials behind that. Pepsi might be cheaper from a distributor, so maybe that's why they do it.
Well, Grim wants to know, where's your purple stick?
My purple stick. I don't have a purple stick. Hard. They're killing me over this purple stick thing. I swear.
It's as bad as your tree people do.
As if it's not enough that Ghost has done made the Lucky Charms box or whatever, and you know, everybody. Well, they're gonna have to make up your mind. Do you want me to wear a purple pimp hat and have a cane, or do you want me to be a leprechaun? Okay. We're getting a little far fetched here with wanting both. With wanting to be a leprechaun, purple leprechaun pimp is a little bit far fetched. You're gonna have to choose one or the other.
You're asking them to make up their mind. You know how hard that is for some of these people.
Yeah, it's impossible. I know it is. I know it is.
They do good to count to 5 without using their fingers. So
right, definitely. Definitely.
Clovertac is the pimping leprechaun. Well, that's a possibility.
Leprechaun. Well, you know, that's okay.
I'm sure you'll take that.
It's better than being called Jonas, so I'm happy with it.
Well, I don't think Jonas likes being called Jonas, but Jonas has no choice at this point.
Right.
It was
right.
It was given to him, and he's just going to have to live with it. And you know what? Here lately, he's actually come to the point where he's accepting it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of seems that way. Yeah.
We got to be careful. He has a link here. He might decide to show up.
I don't know. That would be okay. I wouldn't have a problem with
that. Yeah, he's like certain other individuals that we know. You say their name 3 times, and they magically appear.
Oh yeah. Like,
but that's okay. We like him. Of course, I have to like him. He's a cousin. I have no choice.
Well, you don't have to tell everybody that though, Willis.
Well, you know, he's not the black sheep. We have black sheeps in the family that we don't discuss, but he's not one of them.
Right.
You know, it's one of those things. And my phone just went off.
Well, that's fine. Don't they know better than to call you when you're like on? I mean, come on.
Yeah, no respect. I feel like Rodney Dangerfield also.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's like, what are they thinking? Yeah.
Any other questions out there for Clover? I've heard not trying to call himself. Yeah, Alan, we all have. He's accepting it. He you know.
What's Alan saying? Oh, the night train thing. Yeah.
Yeah. We kid because we care is what Rich White says. 1%.
Yeah. Leave it to 1%. Yeah.
Yeah, well.
And that's fine. I mean, I know that they that's one good thing about it is, I mean, we rip on each other a lot, but at the end of the day, it's all in good fun.
See, there's a certain asshole that we both know who is
just one?
Just one messaging me right now. Hey Ellis, how are you doing? Would you like to take a guess on who that one is?
Really?
Yeah. Just I give you 3 guesses, but you're probably going to get it in one.
That's not for me. That's not a good enough. I got to have more of a clue than that. I mean, that could be.
He'll be on your show later tonight with you.
That could be. That still could be. That could be 24 people.
Well, this
unfortunately,
this is true. I'll give you one more hint. He's a Marine.
He's a Marine. So, Ghost, maybe. Who all is a? I'm trying to think who all is a
Ghost.
is a
Ghost Tactical.
is a Marine other than Ghost. I think there's a few more out there. I think.
Yeah, he's the wonderful individual that is texting me constantly at this moment.
Well, I wouldn't describe Ghost the way you did.
Oh, how would you describe him?
That was misleading. I don't know. I wouldn't use that word.
No. What, Marine?
No, no. I'm not. You're not getting me to say it.
Say what?
I'm not going to use the word that you used that you called him. I'm not going to use it. But
Oh, you mean asshole?
Basically, yeah.
No,
Basically, called him the
looks like
back
he
end
knows
of a donkey.
He already
Well,
knows this. This is
But that's what I'm saying. I've never witnessed that. I've never really had that.
Well, does he have your phone number?
Yeah. Yeah, believe it or not. The thing is though, I don't have my phone. He may have texted me too. He may have texted me first. I may be more important. But see, I play hard to get. My phone is not here. It's in the truck charging. So, he probably didn't get me. And so, he figured, well, second choice is Ellis. So he texted you. So that's you're welcome, Ellis.
Yeah, that's really kind of him and you.
Right.
You know who your friends are.
Well, yeah. That's yeah. And your enemies, unfortunately. But yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Ghost, for the entertainment. Your timing is impeccable.
Right.
And I would say that was an accident, but considering he's sitting here on the show.
Yeah, he did it on purpose. He did it on purpose.
Ellis, how does it feel to be Ghost Tactical second choice? I'm not Ghost Tactical second choice.
Oh, now Phoenix says, does Clovertac endorse sprinkles? Okay. If you have to ask that question, you apparently have not watched all the. You apparently Phoenix, what Phoenix threw out there. If you have to ask that question, then you have not watched every video on my channel. That's all I got to say. No, I don't do sprinkles. Don't want sprinkles. Nope.
I don't mind sprinkles.
I had a cupcake at a birthday party. And what I hate is when you have, if it's like is that the buttercream? What icing is the one that kind of gets crusty? It kind of gets hard. You know what I'm talking about?
Crusty.
There's like a whipped icing, and it's always like cool whip texture.
I thought you were describing Bob.
And then there's another, yeah, right, could be, yeah, crusty. And then there's another icing that is you spread it on, and I mean, if it sits out anyway or whatever, it kind of, I don't want to say it gets crusty, but I mean, it solidifies a little bit almost. But anyway, the whipped icing is the one I'm talking about. And it's real soft and it's real fluffy. And I hate it, man, when they'll take a good cupcake and they'll put some of that nice whipped frosting on there, and then they put sprinkles on it. And the thing is, you can't even dust them off, because when you try to dust, you just push them down in the icing further, So you pretty much have to eat it with the sprinkles. And yeah, I don't like the sprinkles. I don't want a soft, moist, succulent, man, especially fresh cupcake or something like that, donut. But I'm not real big on flavored donuts and stuff, though. If we're gonna go down the donut rabbit hole, so to speak, just why mess with it? Why mess with a good thing, man? And a nice, fresh, hot glazed donut is, it's just hard to beat that. I don't care what kind of icing you put on it or what kind of stuff you squirt in the middle of it and fill it up, whatever. Not my thing.
Phoenix says the donut hole.
A donut hole. It's okay with a donut hole. I'm okay with donut holes. That's just glazed. The thing is, they're not donut holes anymore. Have you noticed that?
Or at least
they're not. They're at least they're not here. What they do is they take a donut and then they like slice it like a pie, basically, is what they do. It used to be actually donut holes. I mean, when they cut the middle out, they would fry the middle up. And yeah, the places here, yeah, they're. But speaking of donuts, you want to talk about good donuts? I don't know if anybody have you ever Ellis had you ever had donuts made out of canned biscuits?
Yes, I have, and I've also
Oh,
had them are good.
I'm all about some canned biscuit donuts. I don't get them very often because they're kind of a pain. They're kind of a pain to make to get the
I've
grease
also had
out and get the grease hot and
apple dumpling out of.
oh yeah,
Oh, that's good stuff right there. Now that's good.
yeah.
Even
I got an aunt. She does bear claws with cream cheese bear claws with oh heck, what is that? The crescent roll, like crescent roll dough. She'll buy a crescent roll dough and do it. So
see,
good stuff.
have you noticed what's happened here? Somebody has.
Yeah, I know. Midnight subverted the conversation, but that's okay.
It just. How did this
That's
happen?
okay. I don't know. You just have to. Sometimes you just have to stare into the skid. You know. I mean,
He's
what
like
else
a
you gonna
food
do?
Jedi. He's
You
like
know.
a food Jedi. He
Yeah.
just shows up
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
this is the food
These
you
are
will be discussing.
these are not the sprinkles you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Shall not
Well,
be
not.
infringed.
Oh
Night
God,
Strike
not
said.
try. Just hey, save it, Night Strike. Okay, don't burn out right now. You're gonna need
Oh,
that
he
for
has
after
plenty.
hours.
He
Yeah, he
he
does.
has plenty. He will
I'm
never
sure he
burn out of
probably.
anything.
I don't know for a fact, but I'm almost wanting to send him my voice recorder and have him to turn it on when he goes to bed because I bet in his sleep he mumbles, "Shall not be infringed." So
I bet he doesn't. I bet what he does is he lays in bed at night, cuddling his several ARs and AKs, and just sleeps with a big smile on his face.
right.
Just call him Midnight Strange, TM. He is kind of strange, isn't he, Grim? Jonas doesn't sleep, Ghost says. I'm related to Ellis. Don't let things go, ever. We do let things go, occasionally. I mean, I just said earlier I gave away a few guns. Is that not letting things go?
Right.
No. You ever done that? Have you ever given away a gun?
Have I ever
Out of
given
kindness,
away?
out of the kindness
Yes.
of your heart?
Um. A
And
working
no,
gun,
Ghost, I've seen one on count.
working, a functioning gun. No. But I have given away a few that I just didn't feel like working on or whatever. Yeah, got them
No,
cheap,
the ones I
really,
gave
really
away were
cheap.
actually functional.
So, yeah, no, I'm greedy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Uh, I would have to admit that's one thing that I'm really greedy. I don't sell guns. I don't trade guns. Um, and I say that I don't want to say that I've never done it, but um, I can definitely count for sure on both hands the number of guns I've let go either by trading or selling. Um, can't really do it on one hand anymore, unfortunately. Um, and several of those honestly were doubles. They were things that I had. For example, I can remember one for sure. It was a Benelli shotgun, and I already had one, and I did some swapping with a guy that he just had to have a. Actually, he had to have a Tech 9 that I had. That I had two of them, and he just had to have it. And so anyway, I traded him for the Benelli shotgun, and I already had a Benelli shotgun. So anyway, I ended up
You are
turning
the
around
you're the only person I've ever heard of that I've ever known that actually owned a Take 9. Did you like it? Did you
Tech 9.
enjoy it?
Oh, cool. Yeah, they're cool. Um, if you've got the right one, they're cool. If I mean, you need the one that is the factory box. It's got the extended barrel and shroud, and and all of that stuff. If you get a post band model, the barrel's not threaded, and I don't know, they just look janky. Now I will say this: if you own a Tech 9 or any of the Tech 22 stuff, you better have some extra firing pins laying around, because they're going to break. They're not high quality at all, but I mean they're definitely fun to play around with.
Was it accurate at all?
Do what?
Was it accurate at all?
Oh no. The Tech 9 is just a
toy.
It's just to spray it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, 15 yards. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can put them all on a silhouette or something like that, but you're not gonna stack one round on top of the other. They just bolt design and everything, and bolt design and everything else on those. They're not intended to do that.
I've always wanted a Newsy. Just
Yeah. I've had several opportunities to buy, the real deal. I know quite a few people that own machine guns, own NFA items, and I think he wanted like 12 grand for it, so that's why I didn't buy it.
I think a Tech 9 is an open bolt, isn't it?
Yeah. Tech 9's open bolt design. Yeah, it doesn't lock up.
MP5SD, Phoenix says. Phoenix, the sub I'm wanting is as we all know, the Chris Vector. And
see, I'm not that impressed. I'm not that impressed with the Vector, especially not for the money. But, and I say that, I mean, it looks cool enough.
I think that's the main reason I want it. It's just the way it looks. It probably shoots for shit. I don't care. I still want it.
Right. Now, I've yet to get one. I've seen several and come really close to buying them, but one of the ones that I think is cool is the Calico carbines, and it's if you're not familiar with that, you will be when I tell you what movie they're in, because it's the one that they have in Spaceballs.
Yep.
And those are
several other movies I've seen them in.
Oh yeah, definitely. But those are some cool little carbines. But most everybody, carbine wise, it's either the Beretta, the High Point, or the Keltec for the most part.
Do you remember?
I don't have a Beretta, but I've got my High Point looks like a Beretta, but except for magazine capacity, which is horrible because it's only 10 rounds. But
do you remember a movie called Remo Williams, The Adventure Begins?
Yeah.
Well, that movie was the first time I had ever laid eyes on a Steyr AUG. That was the big gun in the movie, the one they were trying to develop.
Right.
And at the time when I seen that, I was like, holy shit, what is that? I mean, it amazed me the way that gun looked.
Yeah, it's weird. And I'm not a fan. And it's not that I'm not a fan because it's a bad firearm or anything like that. I don't like the looks of it at all. And I never have.
Oh, I think it's ugly. It's ugly as sin.
And I'm that way with about anything that's a bullpup style design. I don't like it. I got a buddy that's got he's got a Mosin Nagant that's been converted over to a bullpup stock, and that's the stupidest thing. I mean, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm like, why would you do that?
I have never caught on to the whole bullpup rage. I've seen some that I was like, that ain't too bad, but most of them are just ugly.
Yeah. I mean, it's like people want, they want to, it's just like the SIG brace thing. People, they want the look of a short barrel rifle, but they don't really want a short barrel rifle. So they go bullpup, or they go with a SIG brace or something like that. I don't know. I don't like the design. I don't like the magazine being back there behind the fire control group. I just, I don't know, just I don't like it.
I've got no experience with one at all, but I could imagine that would throw the balance of the gun off quite a bit.
Midnight out there says, "Wait, a bullpup bolt gun?" Question mark. Yes, I've got a friend that has a Mosin the Gaunt bullpup. Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, isn't the WA-2000 a bolt gun?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say
It's a
one way or the
sniper
other.
rifle, but I think it's a bolt.
Yeah.
Chambered in
Can't say
300
what.
mag.
But they make so many. You know, I've seen 50 BMG bullpups, and but they run the gamut. Especially with conversions nowadays, it seems like they have conversions for anything and everything to turn them into a bullpup. Now, some of the 1022 stuff, of course, I mean, nowadays you could just buy a charger. Well, I say that you couldn't buy a charger and put any kind of a stock on it, unfortunately. Midnight
Taser
says on that Mosin, he said on that Mosin bullpup, you'd have to be double jointed to work the bolt. Yeah, you would. But
yeah, I'm trying to imagine.
Yeah, I mean, some of the
talking, and it's weird.
Like, I mean, I could see a point maybe of a, I guess with like a 1022 or something in the bullpup. I mean, it would bring the profile down. Possibly you could get it in a backpack or something like that. But I mean, nowadays with the Ruger takedowns, and like I said before, a Ruger Charger and a pistol, you can just about do the same thing. I mean, they, with that little bipod on the front, especially, you can steady it up.
Speaking of Ruger, they've got are they still making the piston-driven Rugers? Those ARs?
As far as I know, they have piston-driven still. Yeah.
Because I know that I've seen the direct impingement, but I've not seen the pistons lately. So I'm not sure if they're still making those or not.
As far as I know, I don't remember what they called those.
I don't either. That's why.
But I don't keep up. I'll tell you, my first AR was a DPMS Panther that I bought in a pawn shop, and I couldn't tell you how many ARs I got. I honestly don't know, but that's the only one that's a factory AR. So I don't keep up with a lot of the ARs except for just in passing or conversation, or a buddy gets one or something like that. I don't keep up with a lot of the stuff out there. And Midnight's got a good one. He says, "What direct impingement pros and cons?" Price is the pro. That's about where it ends, honestly. Cons is going to be, Phoenix says, cleaner and cheaper. No, piston driven is going to be cleaner. It'll be dirtier. Would be a con.
Yeah, well, I've my first AR was a Wyndham, the one I've got now. But as of today, I put another one on layaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Savage MSR. So we're gonna see how that works.
Yeah, I think that'll be a good one. Now, Midnight said he's heard that direct impingement's really dirty. The word "really" there, I mean, you got to be relative with this, because you're talking about they drug them through the jungles and all, and this, that, and the other, and whatever. I mean, that was direct impingement.
My thoughts on global warming.
Really,
it doesn't exist. At least not the way they're hollering.
Leave it to Ghost, man. You're asking for it. You just wait till Tuesday, Ghost. I'll get revenge for Ellis. I promise you.
Here's the thing. Come Tuesday night, I'm gonna bust his balls. Be ready for it.
Global does the globe warm? Yeah, the globe warms. I mean, every time it turns around and faces the sun, it warms. So global warming is here's the problem is we got temperature cycles, right? We know this.
Okay? Yeah, the Earth goes through its own.
So yes, I mean, we have periods of global warming. The
And
question
cooling.
is, and periods of global cooling, correct? Um, the question about it that needs to be asked is it man made? And I'll give you um, I would have to look it up because I don't remember offhand, and anybody out there can Google food, but do some Google food on how long it takes. And when I was back years ago, I was a mechanic, went to get an air conditioning, my air conditioning certifications, and they were talking about the Freon. Back then it was R12. And they were talking about releasing that Freon into the air, into the atmosphere, and how it'll eat up the ozone. I'm sure y'all probably have heard crap like that. Aerosol cans, you hear the same stuff. Oh, it'll eat up the ozone. And, it would, I forgot how long they told us that it would take for, if you opened a can of, let's say, Freon and just opened it up and let it spew out. I forgot how long they said it would take for that to actually reach the upper atmosphere. But I mean, it was astronomical the amount of years, and the volume it would take. Because I
Yeah,
mean, it's gonna dissipate in the atmosphere, and then it's got to be able to travel all the way up there. And it was years, and it was like, they told us, they were like, if because we had these spots in the ozone, and they were like, if it was aerosol cans and Freon that was causing that, we're in really, really big trouble because that's aerosols and Freon that was causing that from many, many years ago. And as many, through the 80s, the big, hair and everything else in the 80s and all the hairspray. Yeah, we're dead when that stuff hits the ozone. So, uh, yeah,
well, look at
I
here.
hate that
Q Hottie just showed up. How you doing, Hottie? Better
we
late than
got on.
never, brother.
Can't believe we got on. Can't believe we got all that.
Hey,
But okay,
we will talk about anything on this show. I mean,
right.
the audience participation at its finest. You want to go there, we will go there. But we're going to have to bring this one to a close. I think Yankees got a show about to start, don't
Oh no, he's at 9, or he's at 10, or he's at 8. What time is it now?
It's 9:02
Your time is
now.
9. It's 9 Eastern. Yeah. Uh, he's at 10 Eastern. Yeah, he's at 10 Eastern because after hours is at 11 Eastern, and he's on for an hour before that. The hour before that. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we got an hour before Yankee, unless he decides to start early or something like that, that's possible.
Well, he's on a rage, so he might
Yeah,
just decide to do that. He's
there
hot.
we go. And he's also got things on Thursday night sometimes that come up with his roller skating or his kickball or something that he does. So you never know with Thursday. There's been nights that he's not shown up on Thursdays. There's been nights he showed up late. So, and whatever. I
No,
mean,
he's hit or miss. Tuesday nights at
I'm
9.
not, I'm not afflicted with this problem, but some people have a life.
Well, I don't. I wouldn't know how to handle a life if I had one. And by the way, Night Strike, that's another $5.
There you
I'm
go.
getting rich from plugging his show. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Good luck collecting. That's all I got to say.
Well, see, he just put out in the chat that he had an AR laying around he can give me. I'm sure we can work something out.
He could give you.
So,
Say he's just going to give it to you.
oh yeah, I mean, and I have a room full of witnesses that saw him say that. So
Wow.
we're going to hold him to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Yep.
have a question
Make sure
for.
you screenshot it.
Oh, I'm going to take care of that. Uh, oh, there are some stipulations. And what's
Ah, yeah.
so here it comes.
Go figure. Night Strike has stipulations. Yeah, I
Oh
didn't see
yeah,
that.
well, of course. There's always that catch with Night Strike. Have you noticed that?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
always. Yeah,
but
always something. But yeah, but he's
uh,
got a lot of butts.
Not just the one he sits on,
Right.
or the one between his shoulders.
Right. uh-uh.
But like I said earlier, it's all said in love. So I have a question for the audience. Audience participation time to the max. Here we go. Next week's guest will be G Webs, but I need a guess. I need a guess for the week after that. I want to see some ideas. I want to see what you guys think.
Yeah, they can volunteer somebody to do it.
No. I'll ask. Now that's the one thing I have to keep in mind is just because they Clint Walker, just because they put it out there doesn't mean that Jonas, Clint Walker, 12. Oh, Night Strike would love to get on here, but the problem with that is it would be an hour or more of shall not be infringed. That's the whole conversation.
Yeah, I tend to think that too. That he probably, yeah.
Bob.
He would
What's
say
Bob?
that or hit and miss. You know, hit and miss, hit or miss, hit or miss. Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, hit or miss Tuesday night. Yeah, I tend to. I'm there with you.
You know, I think I'll ask Bob if he wants to be on the show in 2 weeks.
Oh, good Lord! Now you're glutton for punishment, man. What, Bob? Really, Bob?
Well, we need to give the Canadians some love.
Let me tell you what. Be careful with Bob. Especially late at night. Bob gets wild at night. I'm gonna tell you.
Oh yeah, I know. I've been on live chats with him at night, and you're right. He gets but I'm sure he can keep it under control for an hour or so.
Yeah, he can. He can.
Yeah.
That's the best way. Bob's awesome. We all love Bob.
We can discuss how many beers it takes Bob to put an engine into a van.
There you go.
Because apparently that's how they time it up there. How many beers it takes.
Right.
So I would like to thank the audience for showing up, for being here. Clover, you anything to say?
No, just just the usual stuff. Everybody get over on gun channels. You should be there. You need to be there. The interaction's a whole lot better. The experience is a whole lot better. There's nothing wrong with on the YouTube because if you're mobile or something like that, I mean, you got to do that. I understand, but if you're able to use gun channels, then get a count, get over there, do that when you can because the interaction's a whole lot better and just
the upside is it's not YouTube.
Help support all the creators over there, watch their stuff and engage. And I mean, it's not hard to do because they pretty much all want to engage with you and talk and carry on the conversation and have a good time. So that's pretty much it.
Well, and you forgot to mention that you have a show coming up later tonight at 11.
I mentioned that earlier, but I could mention that again. Yeah, the after hours is going to be basically calling out the big dogs, man. We'll do a few channels. We'll do a few new channels, and then I don't know, talk about a few things probably non-related, and then move into calling out the big dogs. Kind of a continuation in a way of what happened last night, but there's things that happened last night, and everybody's kind of focused on that and making the rant videos at the Gun Collective and those guys, and there's been a ripple effect, like I said, with other channels that have sort of followed suit and lockstep with those channels, be it they're for whatever reason they're starstruck or they're all beneficiaries of the NRA or whatever the case may be, that they're supporting more or less, I guess, or backing the what went on that Gun Collective chat. So we'll talk about that and get into what all's been said, and should be fun. And then tomorrow at 10 Eastern is of course Firearm Friday, and may have a lawn chair chat sometime between now and then. You never know when those might pop up, so kind of got to always be looking for those.
Yeah, I've caught a couple of those. Pretty good little deals you got running there. Just pop up randomly at any given point in time.
Yeah,
And
you
feel
know, it's one of them things that you're out there, and I mean, you got a few minutes. I mean, why not? Why not kick the camera on and you never know. I mean, some good things may be said, some good topics brought up. I mean, it can always bring up subjects for a live show later on or whatever. So, it's all part of that engagement. I mean, I can't stress it enough how important it is to have that conversation and have viewers out there that are watching that are actually engaged and give you ideas, and you feed off each other. And that's what makes gun channels and makes our little group unique compared to some of the other ones.
Well, I want to take this opportunity to say thank you to G Webs because he is doing so much for the gun community, for us. He's going out, he's driving the country, he's stopping at all these little gun shops, making contacts and doing the best he can to help these little shops out. And guys, he needs all the support he can get. So, do what you can to help him out and help him do what he's doing, especially if you like the content. And if you're like us, you know, we all do what we can for G, because without him there would be no gun channels. And he is the man. I mean, you might not hear a whole lot from him anymore, but he's still the man.
Yep, I would agree. And real quick, something that I finally run across. It's taken an hour to do it, but I did. We were Midnight asked about that cooking channel. The old guy was talking about Jim Foreman, and that's his channel. That's his name, and his channel is his name, and it's Jim Foreman. Spelled with E, Foreman. But yeah, really.
If you want to.
Do I have a? Can I do that?
No, but you will in a minute. Just say something, and I'll take care of it.
I could do it yeah. I'm not owning your stuff on the gun channel side, unfortunately. I didn't even bring it up. I feel bad now.
I'm hurt.
I know, right? Like people over there are the ones that already feel hurt.
Yeah, because we haven't said a whole lot about that, have we?
Where is your stuff over on the gun channel side?
Oh, it's there. I'm sitting here looking at it.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
I got to fix that where I can find it quicker. So yeah, I'll drop that.
Well,
yeah,
most people only want to see it once, and then they never want to see it again.
Go check out this guy. Like I said, he's an old dude, and I mean, it's really simple dishes and stuff he's got.
I'm gonna
mainly
copy that link, and I'll put it in YouTube for you.
Maybe mainly breakfast type stuff and things like that. But yeah, he's got like 4,000 subs. So, but I think he's been around a while. He just does it I guess for something to do more than anything. But yeah, pop it over there and say hey. And he's always been appreciative every time I've commented or something on his stuff. So.
Okay, well, guys, I'm about to pull one out of the blue here. I just had a thought.
Oh.
So I'm going to try to get Bob on the week after next. Next week is G-Webs. How about the week after that, we go with Midnight Range TM?
Oh, Lord.
He wants to talk about food. Let's just put him on the air and let him talk about food. What do y'all say? We're leaving it up to the lobby.
When that happens, I'm going to be in the chat, and I'm going to do my best to circumvent the conversation over the guns or cars or movies or something other than food. So just so he's warned that when he comes on and starts talking food, I'm going to do my best to change the conversation.
Cool deal. Well, I got some more news for you. I just confirmed that Never Enough Ammo has agreed to be on my show.
Sweet.
So
There you go.
that one will be very interesting. Look forward, people. Let's say that'll be in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Couple, 3
especially
weeks.
with him moving and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that's
Yeah. Yep. That'll be a good one.
so.
There's
There we
there's
go.
lots of good ones. And even if you run through most of the gun channel guys and other stuff, if you need help finding people, let me know. I've got quite a few I've done podcast interviews with that would probably be willing to come on and do a live stream. And one of the reasons I haven't done it, myself on a live stream is because I've already done it once with them on a podcast. So I'll try to put you in contact with those folks and get you some more people maybe down the road
I appreciate anything anybody can do for me, but I'm still waiting on a reply from Midnight.
Well, I say I'll speak for him. I'll just speak for him and say yes. I mean,
I think he's afraid. I think he's kind of nervous because he knows you mean what you say.
His biggest deal is going to be time to be able to do it, I think.
Well, we will work something out.
I mean,
you know what? I'm off Tuesdays too. I will come up with something special.
I'm surprised. As much time as Midnight spends in the kitchen, I'm surprised he's not also barefoot and pregnant. But that's a different story.
Well, I tell you what, Midnight. Let me know your schedule. I'm off Tuesdays and Thursdays. I will run a second show whatever day in whatever time frame that needs to be done. We'll get you on. So, I have no problem putting on an extra show in a week.
There you go.
So you figure it out. You let me know something, and we'll get it done. And if you can come up with something, let's say Tuesday, I'll do it Tuesday, and then Tuesday, and then that Thursday it'll be G-Webs, and then I'll try to get Matt on the next week. That takes care of everybody right there.
Well, I don't take care of everybody.
But everybody.
I don't take care of everybody. You still got plenty out there.
Hey, everybody in my circle is very small. I have a very tight knit circle.
Got to expand, man. Expand the horizons.
Well, see, it expanded quite a bit when I let you in. So
that's true.
That's
true. It all kind of went to hell in a handcart, honestly. But yeah.
And now we're bringing Bob in. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Bob is Bob is would be definitely interesting.
He's a bear.
Mm-hmm.
In more ways than one. So okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna cut this one off. I think we've killed it tonight. What do you think, Clover?
Yeah, I think we beat a dead horse to death multiple times.
How the hell do we beat dead horse to death? He's already dead. I've talked to him.
I think maybe Alan out there keeps giving him mouth to mouth and reviving him. That's what it is, or something. But
sure, it ain't Dan.
You know how Alan is about horse love. He likes Frenching horses for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, there's something about a thoroughbred. Who knows?
There you go.
Okay, guys. You all have a good night, and we will see you maybe twice next week. Have a good one.